Welcome to Visionary Voices, the podcast where purpose speaks, faith leads, and powerful stories of vision, resilience, and impact come to life. I'm your host, Dr. Brewer, and each episode we sit down with leaders, change makers, creatives, entrepreneurs, educators, and everyday visionaries who are turning adversity into assignment and calling into action. This is more than a conversation. This is a space for inspiration, transformation, and truth. So whether you're building, healing, leading, or simply trying to hear from God clearly in your next season, you are in the right place. Let's lean in, live fully, learn deeply, and listen for the voices that are shaping vision for such a time as this. This is Visionary Voices.
Visionary Voices, where your purpose gets ignited, your spirit gets invited to grow, to rise, to dream. Visionary Voices, where the praise becomes a bold and the broken are made whole. Turn it up, let the healing begin.
So once again, welcome to Visionary Voices. I am more than elated and honored today for our very special guest. This is a man who is a respected leader and a powerful voice in ministry, and also someone that I love to call my heart brother. He is indeed a man of wisdom, authenticity. He has a heart for God's people, and it makes him fitting and meaningful to be a guest here in our conversation. Please join with me in welcoming none other than Pastor RB McGhee Jr. to Visionary Voices.
Hey, Shantae. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And just so you guys know, as I said, this is my heart brother. We're going to get into that. But every now and then I might have to catch myself because your nickname might come out. Because just like it almost came out right now. So those who know, they know. But this man right here, he is absolutely incredible. So do you mind just telling us real quickly a few things about yourself?
There's nothing really to tell. I feel like I'm an average, ordinary, everyday guy that, does what's necessary to be done. You kind of feel the task that's set before you, just living everyday life and trying to honor God in the process.
So first off, let me tell y'all, he ain't nowhere near regular, okay? But he is humble. So we do see that aspect. And when he says that he's trying to do what needs to be done and live for God, that's truly, when I think about it, at the heart of the matter, that's your very essence, that you just like, I push towards the calling of the higher mark. and that's my brother right there, okay? So I just want to jump in and ask you a few specific questions because I think you are a phenomenal leader. Because I think there is something, extra, not regular about you that I want to share with the people. So are you okay with us jumping into
Let's jump right in.
All the nitty gritty. Okay, so as I said earlier, this is my heart brother. And what that means is both of us are heart transplant recipients. Shout out to organ donation because it most certainly does save lives.
Absolutely.
You know what? Let's go ahead and shout out Dr. Tatulis because that's who put my new joint in. Who put your new heart in?
Same doctor.
So Dr. Tatulis, this is for you. Thank you. All right. All the entire amazing cardiac transplant medical team at Advocate Christ Hospital. Shout out, Dr. Kotz, you my homie. All right. But can you talk about how that heart journey, or really the journey to the heart as well as the transplantation, how did that affect you as a leader, your mission, just everyday life as you think about you in terms of leaders?
It's kind of difficult to put into words because, as I said earlier, you kind of live life and rise to the occasions that's before you. So, as a father, at the time a husband, a pastor, it's like you greeted with news that, kind of rock your world, kind of changes your life. So, you do what's necessary to be done. So I began to have to go to doctor's appointments a lot more. Um, at some point, I couldn't work any longer, and at each thing matriculated, you kind of live life, the life that's put in front of you. So, in the meantime, in between time, I wanted to honor God. When it got to the point where the ejection fraction was very minimum, and they talked of putting a heart assist pump, and that was something that was life changing. They recommended that so that my organs could continue to be oxygenated and the proper blood flow. And initially, after the implant, because you got transplant, you got implant.
Yes.
So I was implanted with what they call a LVAD, and I was literally battery operated.
With no pulse.
Yeah, and my pulse was like it sounded like a buzz saw. Woo. So again, I kept preaching, I kept teaching, I kept serving God to my capacity. Kept trying to be a father, kept trying to be a husband. You have to realize that some of these things are diminished, because you start asking questions like, to the place we going, how many stairs are there? Normal tasks begin to get a little more difficult, and it remind you that you're on a journey. And it's different things along our lives that remind us we on the journey. So, during those times, you got to make a decision. Are you going to look out, or are you going to look up?
Come on now, Pastor.
And you have to intentionally remind yourself sometime to look up and not look out, because when you look out, you look at people that don't have what you have, and it can make you feel a way,
A big type of way.
So you have to be careful with saying why me, woe is me. So you have to look up, and you get to ask the question. I believe you get to ask the question. I sincerely asked the question, why? Yeah, a lot of so it's a lot of people that say you don't supposed to question God, but I beg to differ, because it was a myriad of people in the Bible that questioned God, and one of the things I learned is if you actually ask God a question, He have a tendency to answer you.
I noticed that too.
Yeah, you don't always like the answer.
That part, yes, that part. But he gonna give it to you.
He's a very revealing God.
Yes.
If we take the time to listen.
I concur with that. And I love the fact that, like you said, I ask God why, because I instantly think of something my father has always told me, where he would say, change the question. You could still have the question, but opposed to why, or say, well, why me? Ask, why not me? And when I thought about that, and once again, thinking about that journey, and even with my own situation, because I'm 13 when my stuff hit, and it's like, I eat all my vegetables. I love vegetables. I literally used to drink a gallon of milk a day. That's back when they said milk does the body good. So I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm doing all the things. And yeah, but then I thought about that question of, why not me? Because I had that moment, and we'll get into that when you have that moment when you feel the weight of what you're going through. Because please believe, at any point in time when you're going through, it doesn't take away that weight. You might carry it well to others, but it's still a weight that you're carrying. So what I heard you just say is that you were carrying 3 massive leadership weights: father, husband, and pastor.
Yeah, and those were the leading grandfather. Those were the leading positions. But you still have your every day, because before the VAD, I was still working 12 hours a day. So I was a driver and pastor and father and husband. Wait a minute, brother and uncle. And when you are active in the people's lives that you love, you actually feel the weight of each one of those hats. And sometimes in different seasons, for different reasons, those hats, some get heavier in different seasons than others.
I can definitely see that, but we going to jump into the heaviness in those different seasons in a moment. So how would you say the heart transplant itself deepened your faith and reshaped your calling?
I don't necessarily know how to speak to, and I thought about reshaping the calling. I don't necessarily know if I can answer the reshaping of the calling, because I don't feel like God changed his mind. It was a reshaping of me.
Come on now, yes.
The journey that it took from diagnosis to transplant was a journey that I needed, because he was adjusting me for the calling that he already designated, to be a better father, to be a better husband, to be a better leader. Because you don't know what you don't know. And you have a tendency, because you are, if, let's just say, you're doing the best you know how to do. And sometimes you don't know that you're not doing the best you could do.
That part.
Because it's some things, it's some actions, it's movement that's necessary to get the highest result out of whatever it is that you do. And the only way you can get to that is one of the things that God taught me in the journey is to get closer to him, because there was a time that I thought I was close to God.
You thought.
And you learn that he's saying, come
on,
closer.
Get a little closer.
Yeah, it's a time that I thought I knew God. And what I learned was I knew Scripture. Because to know Scripture is to know of God. But there's a designation called the Holy Spirit. And that is the tool that you need that deciphers the Scripture and begin to allow you to actually know the God of the Scripture.
Yes.
And the journey made me a little bit tender, a little more tender, a little more loving, a little more forgiving. And I thought I was that. So the journey was very necessary. Heart issues, not just physical, but emotionally, spiritual. It was an awakening throughout.
I can see that. And when I couldn't help but to think that, just like we talked about the difference between wisdom and knowledge, you had knowledge of the scriptures, but wisdom steps in when you know how to put that knowledge into use.
Put it to work, yeah.
So, and it makes me think about the old saying that it's like, you don't know God to be a healer until he's healed you. You don't know about deliverance and God to be a deliverer until he's delivered you. So what I'm hearing is that you literally, just like it talks about in the book of Ezekiel, God literally gave you a new heart. And with that new heart, restored everything about you, created something new.
And I would beg to say that it's a new thing. And this is kind of how I articulate it. It was very necessary from the standpoint of, like you said, a new heart. But that journey was necessary because what happens is everything that we go through, I sincerely believe that it leads us back to God.
Yes.
the good and the bad, the happy and the sad. And this is what God uses as a magnet, because his whole purpose is to bring us back to him.
Yes.
And based on your purpose and your personality is the tools that God has to use to bring you closer to him. Because most of us don't wake up on a Sunday and just say, I'm raring to go to church. There's a process that make you appreciate and get to a point where you look forward to going to church, where
Yes.
it's not a duty, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
You don't got to go to church, you get to go to church, to be in the fellowship, to be in the number, to acknowledge God and to magnify him in all his ways. We get to do that. And when you at death's doorstep,
Right there.
when nobody, it's certain things people don't have to tell you. When you know that if I don't get this hard, if I could be blunt, if I don't get this hard, I'm gonna die. And when God take you through that journey, and you could say, "Oh, okay, God, you done tenderized me enough in this journey for me to be able to say, not with words, but in full meaning, that this is a win-win."
Speak on it.
A win-win from the standpoint of if and when you decide to give me a heart, I get to run on a little while longer. I get to serve you a little while longer. I get to serve your people a little while longer. But Paul said it could be a win-win, because if I don't get a heart, he said, absent from the body, present with the Lord.
Yes.
So God allowed me to experience the process of becoming more tender and more intimate with him, to get to that place to say, you know, worst case scenario, I end up with him.
And is that a worst case? I know y'all will miss me. I'm gonna miss you too.
Absolutely.
But check this out. I'm gonna see y'all in the by and by, because everybody got that time.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that, because it's when you know that you have gotten, as you put it, tender, and you've gotten closer to God. If I'm no longer here looking at you anymore, maybe I'm good, because I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But if I don't know where I'm going, that's when I'm going to cling to this life. But I already know I can't cling to this life.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, like, it's clear, God did a few things with your brother.
He's definitely a tenderizer, and I acknowledge it. I respect it, and but sometimes it's still tripped out, because with everything you go through, it's like you still who you are, because we got X's on our back. I was at work. One of the guys had stopped smoking, and I say, "Wow, you over here with us now." He said, "Over where?" I said, "Non-smoker." He said, "No, I'm not a non-smoker." He said, "I'm a smoker that don't smoke no more." And I look, the older guy. So all the proclivities that was there to get you to be a smoker, those proclivities are still there.
Still there.
But you have a different mindset. So all of the proclivities that I had pre-transplant and pre-journey, those proclivities are there. But now I have something to fight with.
Yes. And you make a different choice.
You make a different choice. And at the end of the day, most of the time, I'm still me. Most of the time, I'm happy with that choice. But every now and then, the west side of Chicago, when I look in the mirror, I see the west side of Chicago and say, they punked me. But God.
Look, even the south side of me like, hold on, even Jesus was flipping tables.
Yeah,
Like, hold on, wait a minute. You know what? I'm gonna let my words be few and seasoned with grace, but they gonna sting a little bit, and I'm saying it with love.
Yeah.
I'm forewarning you.
Yeah, every now and then, you shrug your shoulders and you say, hey, wait, hey, don't play with me.
Right. Like
God on my
I'm
side.
holy, but not soft. Like it's a difference.
Yeah.
I'm saved, but the Lord is still working on me. So you will still catch these hands, and I'll just say it's the laying of the hands.
And for me, mine is mostly an afterthought of feeling like I responded the way I was supposed to in most cases, but I still deal with the aftermath of thinking they think they got over on me.
And that's they think. Because I know I serve a mighty God. Well, as old folks say, that he up high, look low. He see all of that. Oh, you think you got
Yeah.
it.
And
My God don't play about me though.
and I can concur that he is an avenger.
That part.
If you be still, he'll fight your battle. I'm a living witness.
Amen. And thinking about the many battles that you have fought. Because I also like that whole depending on the person and their personality. That's how God got to work with you. So when we try to figure out, well, why such and such ain't, but depending on the person and the personality.
Absolutely.
God knows exactly what it's going to take to get your attention. What's going to get your attention might be different than what's going to get my attention. Yep. But even thinking about that, as you walk through some of the many battles, and we're going to transition. So we going from the physical heart to the metaphorical heart. So a battle that you dealt with was divorce. So as you were walking through that season of divorce, what did it teach you about God's restoration and leadership?
I think, though, that is one of the moments where God showed me that if I trust him, that he would fight my battle. And when I decided to trust him, I had a lot of questions because it was a lot of noise. A lot of noise in the marriage. You could get to a place in a relationship where it can't be contained anymore, where it's oozing out the door and oozing out the window. And, you try to contain it as much as you can, but it got real loud. And I had questions like, why go through this? Do you think that you would still be in this relationship if you wasn't having heart difficulties, if you wasn't on a heart journey? Are you complacent because you on a journey? And I couldn't answer it in the moment, but the question still lingered. And my thought in hindsight is this is what God was teaching me in the moment, to lean closer to him. Like I said earlier, everything is designed to bring us to him. Every problem, every situation, every joy, every success, and every failure. He's looking over the banister of heaven saying, are you going to turn to me now?
Like, I'm waiting.
C.S. Lewis wrote a book called The Purpose of Pain. And if I could surmise that book, C.S. Lewis was saying that there's purpose in our pain because it teaches us that we have to lean and depend on God. And he talks through us, not only through our successes and our risings, he speaks to us in pain.
Yes.
And I think that both you and I can attest to God will talk to you in that room all by yourself, with waiting for medication to kick in because of the pain.
Yes.
And to know that God could bring you through the pain, because I've experienced pain and loss of activity to the point to where I thought I would never get it back. I'm talking about weak as a kitten to the point where I thought I would never regain the strength that I once knew. And God shows up in those moments and say that I'm going to do what the doctors can't do. They done did all they can do. But now I kick in to show you what I can do, because they can repair you, but I can restore you.
That part. Yes.
So you see God in the restoration period.
Yes.
And there's nothing that can change a person's mind about the sureness of God beside the restoration period. I'm talking about the things that he restored that you thought
Was gone.
would never come back. The relationships, 'cause you spoke on divorce, the relationships that you lost that you thought that you would never recover from. God is a restorer.
Yes.
And he's speaking through that pain. He said, you could still serve me, or you could go back the other way. I'm using this to pull you to me. And in a lot of cases, if we're not careful, we'll use these as failures to say, I can run away. This God thing don't work.
Right.
And somebody need to see that it's not always sunny because you're saved.
Come on now. That's a word. Yes.
You know, so it's not always tiptoeing through the tulips. That sometimes you jailed. Sometimes you shipwrecked. Somebody that read that Bible know I'm talking about Paul. Sometimes you misunderstood. Sometimes you beaten with 40 lashes, save one. Do you know that is a death sentence? Except for the save one. 40 lashes is a death sentence. Save one. So Paul can talk about pain through his purpose.
Yeah.
And if we can take a note from Paul, that could be the difference between whether you went toward God or whether you ran away from God.
And while you lean on Paul, my personal favorite is Job.
Oh. Somebody told me that the book of Job shouldn't even been in the Bible. Like if God is any kind of a good God, that book shouldn't even been in there. That
Really?
you telling us that God literally did this to people? I digress.
I mean, it's like I kind of, because you know how I am. I'm gonna be able to see both sides of it. But look, maybe it's because Job got a tender piece of my heart.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that, the first time, because I had never thought while I was laying in that hospital bed, like, I'm such an executor by nature. So I'm just thinking about, I need to get this done. Like, okay, this has been set in front of me. All right, we got to crush it. Because the God that I serve, he don't sponsor no flops. He ain't make me no junk. So whatever come before me, I can handle it. I got this. It's me and God. Like, I was 13, but, you know, kind of mighty up on my word a little bit. But when one nurse came in and she said, baby, you ain't nothing but a female Job. And I'm sitting up there like, because now I'm going to be real. I'm going to take a note from your page and I'm going to be real authentic. I don't know if you noticed this about me. Patience is a virtue. I'm still working there. The Lord is still working on me. Now, animals and children, got all the patience in the world. I'm there with that. But them other areas, the Lord is still pulling me through on it. And so when I hear that, because everyone generally, when they talk about Job, talks about the patience of Job. But I want you to consider this. Job was an upstanding, righteous man that was minding his own business.
That's the book.
And now the enemy, he peeped, and it was a conversation between God and the devil, literally. And like we know, those conversations don't happen that often. But literally, he like, God, the only reason why this man blesses you so is because you keep blessing him. Of course he's going to honor your name. Of course he going to be down with you. But I bet you, if you let me rock with him, you let me mess with him, he'll be cursing your name in no time. Job, minding his business, while there is a whole spiritual dissertation happening about him. And that's the same thing that goes on with us. And I can't help but to think like we doing the best that we can. We doing what we know to do. You know, we going to Sunday school. We trying to learn the scriptures and do the scriptures because we know we don't want to just be hearers of the word, but we want to be doers. We're doing what we supposed to do. Meanwhile, there's a whole spiritual conversation taking place about us. And it's our God boasting about us, saying, you know what? Go ahead and attack my son's health. Go ahead and attack my daughter's health. I bet you throughout it all, they still gonna praise my name. And then when we think about everybody, like you talk about the noise, everybody kept saying, Job, like, come on now. Like you said, that God thing ain't working out. It don't make sense, bro. Like, what's going on? Look at your body. Look at your family. Look, you done went from rich to poor. What? Bro. And Job like, still God. Yet will I trust him.
Yeah. Though he slayed me.
So I know whether I get this hard or not, God is still good. I know whether I get this job or not, whether I get whatever it may be, God is still God and God is still good. That I realize that in my weakness, his strength is made perfect. And it's going to show up through me as long as I allow it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then when you think about at the end of it all, God didn't just say, hey, good job, son. You proved me right. He said, everything you lost, everything everybody thought you would never get back.
Restore.
And it ain't regular degular. It ain't just, oh, I gave you one, here go one. No, I'm about to give you more than just that one. Like the saints, I say, I'm going to give you double for your trouble.
Double for your trouble.
So when I think about that and even listening to you, the ministry that is there, just as you speak the wisdom that you've lived through it. This ain't something that you got secondhand, that you like, I know that God is going to come through and God's going to show up. So when you think about your journey, all that God has brought you through, and think about your leadership position as, first off, let's say an ambassador as well as a representative of the kingdom, in addition to happen to be a shepherd and a teacher at Faith and Love Fellowship. Shout out to the Faith and Love family. When you think about your own personal season of, dare I say, brokenness, in those moments where, as you put it, I'm weak as a kitten. I need the Lord to sustain me this day and every day. How has that changed your ministry where you can speak to somebody who is in that valley and say, baby, you ain't going to stay there, but let me tell you how to get through?
I think it's relative that I chose Paul and you chose Job. Because at the tender age that you were, you hadn't had a chance to do nothing yet. So that was
mom and daddy
innocence.
ain't play games.
Right.
Like
that was an innocence. I'm not saying, that anybody was born perfect. We were born in sin, shaped in iniquity. But there was still, at 13, with this diagnosis, there was still an innocence there where it was things that you hadn't even been exposed to, privy to. But mine is more identifiable with Paul because he ran on the other side for a while.
You was out there west siding.
And I can identify. So I know God in some areas as a deliverer. And I know God in some areas as a keeper. And I can identify with Paul a little bit better because even when I was going through on my worst day, if I'm being honest with me, when you have those moments where you laying in the bed, where your body don't allow you to do much more, and I was counting the stripes in the ceiling. That's the kind of time I had on my hands, and you think about what you think about. Because a lot of times you think what you think, but you don't think about
what you think. They call that metacognition.
Okay, I like that. That's why Dr. Brewer is on your name. And at those moments, I think this is what allows me to speak now because I was deserving of everything I got. Paul said it this way. Paul said, I was a persecutor of the church, and I never really should have been called to the ministry. He say, I did everything I could to avenge the God that I was serving and to kill the people that was hollering this Christianity stuff. And I wasn't necessarily a persecutor of the church, but it was so many things that I had wrong. And I had, in those moments of looking at the ceiling, if I said it to nobody else, I had to say it to me to say, if I died today, God hadn't done anything wrong. I thank God for grace. I thank God for mercy. I really thank God for forgiveness. But if he took me out today in a car accident or my heart stopped beating today, one of the things I learned, because self-righteous, because self-righteous is just the appearance that you live in such a way that it appear like. But when you laying down counting the stripes in the ceiling, you stuck with yourself, because everywhere you go, there you are. And I kept running into me. And when I'm in the room by myself counting, I don't see the people. I don't see the person that the people see. I got a chance to see the person that was actually there. The shortcomings that was actually there. The thoughts behind the actions behind the thoughts. I was stuck with me. And I began in those moments to be able to thank God for what he brought me through, because he didn't show me nobody else. He showed me. While people had this facade of me, he showed me because if you listen to people long enough, if you look out long enough and they saying nice things about you long enough, even though it's not true, you start believing it.
And you start, pumping yourself up like, oh yeah.
And you struggle between the prodigals. The one that left and did everything wrong, and he had the very appearance of evil. And the one that was just as evil, that stayed at home, that had the appearance of innocence.
Well.
And most of us, not all of us, but most of us is stuck somewhere in between those two boys.
And have no idea either.
You don't know what you don't know.
Yes. And it's something about, and it's almost, dare I say, equivalent to when you are incarcerated. It's something about that little room that you can't leave, that all of a sudden, it seems like it's mirrors everywhere. All of the excuses that you have for, well, I did this because of, or all the other voices you heard, all of a sudden, it gets real quiet. The excuses mean absolutely nothing. And you're just left there with, this is what I did.
This is who I am. This is what I projected. And it's sobering.
Very.
It's sobering. And you learn not to pass judgment as quickly.
Yes.
You learn how to lance out a little more grace than judgment. And it's a real tender place. And I wouldn't take nothing for my journey now.
Because talk about that level of self-awareness that you now have, that
Absolutely.
you just like, and of course, yes, the testimony, there's power in that as well. But now it's like, I can literally think, move, talk differently, all because of my healing journey. That while granted, we're still on, because every day is a new thing. Like, yes, we got the heart, but every now and then, it'll find some type of way in our bodies to remind us, oh, baby, you're still in recovery. Like, whether it's that annual biopsy that, I think you finished yours, didn't you? You got one more?
I actually, at the end of the month, March the 31st, I got the left heart cath where they go through the arm. And then my final one, my fifth year, would be in July. where they do the final biopsy.
Look, my birthday month, that's a celebration. And look, I'm going to keep my shoe on because I was getting ready to. And I got the heels on this time. See, little side note, while we was having us a grand old time at
In
the
the
anniversary. Yes. Big sis was up there preaching everything down. We had our keyboardist there, doing the thug thizzle, and I don't know. I just had to throw my shoe. But then another time, like, the shoe just flew off on its own. And I was just like, oh, okay. So even the shoes got happy. But
A
today,
good time in the Lord.
yes, I got on heels. So we're not going to throw nan bit. I'm just going to do this and just do a little hand wave. Now, thinking about, because as you guys can see, this man is so full of wisdom, wealth of wisdom. And I just love how it is not self-inflated. So while we're talking about self-righteousness, we also got that self-inflated.
Yeah, most of the stuff I know is by default, but go ahead.
So he like, I had to learn the hard way,
Absolutely.
as Granny say, a hard head.
Make it soft behind.
And he already talked about, I feel like we got to have Unc on the show talk about tenderism, because you like, I done got real tender. Like, I will fall off the bone quickly. So in thinking about your tenderism journey, your healing journey, and that does entail emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of the things. How has that influenced the way you mentor young men? Because you have young men at your church, in the family, and we talked about passing judgment, and a lot of people are passing judgment on the next generation coming up, these young boys. So how has your situation, your journey specifically influenced how you deal with them?
Quick story. I was at work, and you see stuff that is not your normal character. It's like God is arranging me and
You doing something.
arranging me,
Recalibration.
and it was out of my character. And again, this is like you asked the question about how I move differently when it comes to the generation behind me, the generation that is following me. Young man at work, late 20s, early 30s. He wasn't himself. And I seen it for a couple of days. We, by the way, I'm back to work after transplant.
Woo-woo.
God is good.
Yes, he is.
So I seen him for a couple of days, and he was downtrodden. And we would speak periodically, in passing. And the third day, I did something that I wouldn't have ordinarily done, because it's so many things that God lead us to do. Whether they say, those some nice shoes, Dr. Brewer, that we don't do, that we should do, that might seem minute to us, that somebody else might need,
Yeah.
And, it's a bunch of men. We truck drivers. When you say how you doing,
Y'all manly.
Yeah, when you say how you doing, I'm not looking for an answer.
Because, that's apparently how men are. Like, I just want to hear you all right and
good.
keep it going.
So we was in the yard, and I seen that. I'm talking about, it was like literally a cloud over him. And I had to humble myself. And again, like you say, the tenderness that God give you to help to fund how you move now. And with all the movement going on in the yard, everybody getting trailers, looking for trailers and everything, it was like, now. So I walked over. He was doing his paperwork. I walked over to the truck and said, man, you not yourself. You all right?
My God.
And like that simple question, because this is deeper than, hey, man, you good? Hey, man, you not yourself.
So I already know you not good. I'm acknowledging it.
And I'm talking about, he literally choked up, like, I couldn't get no words out. Like, how do you know? And at that moment, I didn't know it at that moment, but at that moment, our relationship changed. And from there on out, we have a different camaraderie and different conversations, because that door, that gate was open where he might not even be aware, but a mentorship began to happen. Like, OG, what's going on with you? Blah, blah, blah. So, he started sharing with me a little bit about what was going on. Not that day, but as days
came.
come. So, I'm always looking for opportunity. I was at a restaurant. The guy came in with his 2 kids. And because I've been there, I was able to see that this is a weekend dad. And I know it was times where I had to go get my daughter on the weekend, and I had to get her to spend the time, but I didn't have the money that I would like to have, but I still had to get her. And at that moment, I looked over at the table how God gets you to move different. And I told the waiter, whatever their bill is, put it on mine.
Look at God.
So you move a little different when God has moved a little different with you.
Yes.
You think about what you don't think about.
Yes. And right in the same vein of not thinking about what you was going to think about, as you were just telling the story about the young man, I realized something that I don't think I've ever put 2 + 2 together before this very moment.
What'd you come up with?
A man literally noticing that I was not my normal self is the beginning of what saved my life. So shout out to Nurse Kyle, wherever you may be. We become a frequent flyer in the hospital. And everybody, Shantae's coming in. Everybody, and some of the nurses, they always want to get me because they know I'm going to try to, even at the transplant, I'm going to try to be as self-sufficient and as less as a problem as possible. Because I feel like me being a teacher at that, an educator, I know nurses and teachers, I feel like we right here together.
Catch it.
Yes, and sometimes it's a thankless job, and like people want to take everything in the kitchen sink out on you and throw it at you. But Kyle literally looked in and said, Shantae, you're not your normal self. And sometimes we get used to, just like how you say, that back and forth of, I'm all right. Even when my mom asked me, are you good? I'm all right. I'm going to speak those things that be not as though they were.
Absolutely.
I got that fight in my spirit. I may be very weak right now, but I'm still going to fight. And it bothered him so much that he went to the charge nurse. The charge nurse looked over my paperwork and she said, this child is not going to make it through the night without intervention. And that's when Mom, are you with me? And that's when my mother asked me, Shantae, are you okay? My mother, thank God for mamas. My mother, she took a picture. She's real good at this, taking pictures and videos of me in the hospital, because she always says, I know my child, number one, because you be so focused on getting discharged and going to live your life, you forget about the process it took for you to get there. And you would never believe if somebody described to you how bad you were down. You wouldn't believe, you would always think somebody was exaggerating because you bounced back. So she took a picture of me. And when I look at this picture, I'm going to show you the picture after we finish recording. Like, I look at it, I was like, how didn't everybody know I was knocking on death's door? I look at it, and my mother said the thing about it was she looked me in the face and she saw my eyes glass over.
My God. And
she said, I've been right there by death too many times. I knew what that meant. I told that, I'm with you. Go do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do.
So I didn't have the LVAD, but I had the ECMO, which is basically the in-hospital, you can't leave that bed version of the LVAD. But that idea of, in order for there to be mentorship, discipleship, it has to be a relationship. It has to be some type of rapport. And sometimes that relationship is literally just you being you, but then you also having that moment where you humble yourself, where you make yourself available to just say, hey, let's break out of the monotonous here, there. I know you're not all right. Hey, something don't seem right. And from there, we don't know how that may impact and change the entire trajectory.
Absolutely.
In my case, in somebody's life, whether they hear or not. But then for that young man, who's to know how the ripple effect goes, and how, like, now that, for all we know, that you could be his only OG he got to talk to. And it's like, I personally, even though I'm a woman, I can admit it, I love seeing our young boys thriving and getting that mentorship by older men. Because I feel like so often, yes, men are closed off. You be strong. And it's like, hey, sometimes we got boys that they're in single mama homes. We know the majority of teachers are women. Ladies, I love us, but these boys got enough of us, okay? They need to go to a man, and they need to be able to have an example of what a man really looks like.
I can actually run down a number of stumbling blocks that I ran into because there was no male mentorship in my life. In my early adolescence, all the way into adulthood, it was in my late 20s before I actually started seeing how manhood actually worked. Up until then, I just had a perception, and and like you said, at this stage in my life with what I know, if I could step in at any time, because one of the things I learned at this great age, today I'm as old as I've ever been.
Amen, and thank God for that.
At this great age, I've learned that we still, no matter what age we get to, if God still allow us to breathe in and breathe out, it still need to be somebody in your life that's ahead of you that you connected with, that you can glean from, that you can get wisdom from. And ladies, I want to say this.
Speak to us, but talk to us nice now.
Whenever you decide to get married,
Well,
that's a leadership role that you're giving your husband. The husband is a leadership role in the life of a wife. I didn't say it, God said it. And because of that, you're giving somebody a leadership role. Always look to his leadership. Before you put yourself under his leadership, look at what leadership he's under. And if he's under no leadership and there's nobody that you can turn to, nobody to correct him, nobody that he's gleaning from, be aware. Be very aware.
Because look, that was going to be a shoe moment, but yes, indeed. Like the book of Proverbs, my favorite book of the Bible, it tells us that we are supposed to have wise counsel.
Absolutely.
So,
a multitude of wise counsel.
More than one.
Absolutely.
So to your point, I'm just making sure, because I know, look, you know how the men are. I know how us ladies are. That ain't a man telling us what to do. You know, he just merely nicely told you what the Bible say.
The Bible say, I'm just saying.
I'm just a messenger.
If a man is in leadership, he need to be also under leadership.
Because I heard once upon a time, you can't lead if you don't know how to follow.
That is a wise saying. That is a wise saying.
And when I think about it, like, yes, God needs to be the head, by all means. But he also placed people down here on this earth. And while granted, yes, each and every last one of us, we fall short of the glory. However, there's things that I can learn from you. There's things that I can learn from the next person, so on and so forth. So in a little piece that I was always told, especially, let me, I guess, since we in that vein, let me talk to, if you're looking to be married, engaged, married, what have you, don't go to get your advice from the person that ain't got no man, that ain't got no woman. I was always told, and now correct me if I'm wrong. You know how I be. But I was always told, if you go, because I'm a woman, so they told me this. They would say, don't go to that woman that ain't got no man to try to tell you how to keep your man. Because all she qualified to do is to tell you how to stay single and how to lose your man. Now, granted, we got some that they could be like, hey, I learned because I lost a good one. Now, I know your exes, they say, I lost a good one. So let me tell you what not to do. Okay, because now we can glean from your experience. But baby, don't come telling me exactly what you did and tell me to repeat the process. Because according to Albert Einstein, that's the definition of insanity, that we're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Like,
All right.
we ain't doing that one.
Okay, Dr. Brewer.
But nonetheless, like men, women, yes, we need someone that has traveled that road before us. Granted, all of us are on our own individual journeys. We all got our crosses to bear. But baby, it's somebody that was ahead of you in line that you have to humble yourself.
You need to see that humiliation in the man that you intend to marry. That humiliation need to be put in our sons, not low self-esteem, but the ability to be humble. And let me tell you where I got that whole concept from. This is not something I just made up. This is something that was in the Bible. Jesus was walking along the sea, and a centurion soldier came to him and said that my servant need to be healed. And Jesus said, "Take me to him." And the servant said, wait a minute. I'm a man that's under authority. He didn't say he was a man. He was a centurion, so he had at least 100 under him. But he didn't talk about the 100 under him. He talked about the ones he was under. He didn't talk about being in authority. He spoke to Jesus about understanding being under authority. And because I'm under authority, I understand your authority a little bit better. So I'm saying to you, you don't even have to come to the house. Just speak it.
Well,
So under authority, in authority, being under authority. And I thought that was very, very key, that he didn't speak to his authority. He spoke to the authority over him. And a lot of times, if we could look for the opportunity to humble ourselves, our outcomes in most cases will be a lot better.
a lot better.
I look for opportunities not to tell people who I am. I look for the opportunity to tell people who he is.
It reminds me of an old song. I'm just a nobody. Trying to tell somebody
Well,
about another one that could
save anybody.
Look, I messed it up just a little bit, but but nonetheless, the essence is still there.
Absolutely.
So that is an excellent note of a quality of a good leader, that they, in their leadership position, they realize that there are leaders ahead of them, and that iron sharpens iron, i.e., they need to have that multitude of counsel, be it young or old. So meaning our young leaders, because young leaders, they start today. Like, we not necessarily, yes, we want to prepare them for the future, but they also got to start leading right now.
They lead. They are leading right now.
Yes, as my mentor, Renita D. Alexander, retired
Shout
Air
out.
Force Colonel. Yes, go cop her book, Just Breathe. But she always talks about you have to lead yourself first, and you lead yourself one breath at a time. Good.
I like that.
Look, I got a good little multitude around me. You in that multitude too, and I think these people can see why. So let's wrap up. I just got one final question for you.
It's always the last question.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and you can look directly to the people with it, because I feel like you're going to bless some people with this question. See, I asked you, did you want some note cards? You said no. So what message of hope would you share with someone who feels as though they have been labeled disqualified?
This is something that I'm not able to speak through reading books. I have actually lived that, and it still peeks over my shoulder today, and not just as a pastor, but as a father. Not just as a father, but as a grandfather, and that balance, not do the best that you can, but to always strive for better. How can I do it better? here's my conclusion. I think you're right. We don't qualify. Thereby the reason salvation was necessary, because we're not able to qualify. On our best day, the Bible says
Filthy rag.
that we are as filthy rags in his sight. And it is not for lowering your self-esteem. It's about living in your reality, that you're not all that. Because a lot of times when we qualify ourselves, and I listen to a lot of these campaign speeches. And I know that the process is that you gotta convince everybody that you're the best candidate.
That you qualify.
But when I look for leadership, and when you in school and you playing basketball or football or running track, they call you a student athlete. But when you are called to ministry, they call you a servant leader. And a lot of times we lead a servant
off
and we keep the leader. And I would say to anybody, when you begin to leave the servant off, and you take off your apron, and all you wear is your crown.
Well,
Because Jesus put his apron on, and he sat his disciples down because he said, I want to represent as a servant leader. And he put his apron on, and he tilted his crown, and he washed the feet of his disciples.
yeah.
The very thing that usually convinces you that you're not qualified is that thorn in the flesh that Paul talks about. When he said that I'd be a better person if you move this. I could preach a little better if you move this. I could be viewed a little bit better if you move this. And God said, no, I want you to serve me in spite of this.
Yes.
My grace
It's sufficient.
is sufficient.
Yes, Lord.
And I want to say to you that regardless of what your shortcomings is, education, failures, and shortcomings, yes, you are not qualified. Paul said it this way: by the grace of God, I am what I am.
Well,
So you don't qualify you. The very thing that qualifies you is that God called you and not you. And if you have a child, God called you to parent. If you have a congregation, God called you to pastor. Wherever you find yourself, you did not put yourself there because God calling an election is not by mistake. So you could do it not because of your education, not because of your pedigree, but because the grace of God and the call of God is on your life. Trust God in his call. Trust God in his qualifications, even when yours fail. When they called the roll in 2007, we was running a Bible class. I wasn't the only teacher. Got some powerful people in my family. And when we got to the point where we would go ahead and organize, because my suggestion was, if we want to go from a Bible class to a church, we got to start tithing.
yeah,
Put your money where your mouth at.
that part.
Put your money where your faith is. And we began to tithe, and the money, amazingly, with the few of us that it was, the money started gathering. And so now we got to make it official. We got to organize now. So now we calling for the officers. And the first one in line is, who gonna be the pastor? I didn't even vote for me.
That's that humility.
No, I was disqualified. I'm talking about by every letter of the word. I was disqualified.
For the D, I got this. For the I.
But I stand here today that despite me not voting for me, I was still voted in.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads me to say what I said earlier. By the grace of God, I am what I am.
And Faith and Love going strong for 19 years and counting. Glory be to God.
To the glory to God.
So I have thoroughly enjoyed you. And I know the people have enjoyed you as well. You have, like I said, a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you for having me.
And I love how authentic you are, how transparent you are. And baby, you'll tell it all. and you will tell it like it TI is. And that's what I'm here for. So we thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And I just want to do a little closing reflection, and then we're going to head out. All right. So Pastor McGhee reminds us of something very essential, and that is that changed hearts change everything.
My God.
Would you say that's a nice little
like
tagline?
I like that.
That his story shows. Oh, it's yours now. His story shows us that even when life replaces what we thought we lost, whether that's love, health, or purpose, God's restoration is never just for us. Can you believe that I actually wrote this before? Hey, like, see how God works?
Yeah.
Like, all of that just swinging together.
You was in the spirit on the Lord's day.
Come on now. And it is for the next generation because they watching, they clocking everything. So, and we are grateful that Pastor McGhee has turned healing into leadership and pain into purpose.
God bless.
Look at how like the Lord was just working. Thank you for joining us for this very first episode of Visionary Voices, where God-breathed vision and powerful voices meet in honest conversations at the intersection of vision, purpose, and impact. Once again, I'm your host, Dr. Shantae Brewer, and I pray this conversation has encouraged you, challenged you, and reminded you that the vision God placed within you still matters. No matter your season, your voice has value, your purpose has weight, and your journey has the power to impact others. Be sure to subscribe, share this episode, and stay connected as we continue amplifying the very voices of faith, wisdom, and God-given vision. Until next time, keep listening, keep leading, keep believing, and keep walking boldly in your God-given assignment. This has been Visionary Voices.